Resident Evil HD Remaster is a remake of the PlayStation 1 horror classic of the same name. This remake was originally released in the GameCube in 2002, but then ported to modern consoles and PC after 2015. Showing that yes, even though we're currently in an era of remake and HD ports, especially with the Resident Evil series, Capcom has been ahead of the trend since the early 2000s. And unlike those recent R remakes, this one is very faithful to the original, for the most part. I played through Chris's point of view, and I'm about to tell you what happens through his eyes. But if you want me to tell you Jill's, let me know in the comments, like and share this video, do the usual things, and I might just do it. Now, before we start, in case if you're living under a rock, what is Resident Evil? Resident Evil is one of the most iconic video game horror franchises and started back in 1996 on the PS1. And known for looking amazing for 3D games in that era, its inventory management, tank controls, puzzles, and unforgettable voice acting.
No! Don't go!
I don't know what happened.
Barry! Where's Barry?
And this remake keeps most of those things intact. Now, the story starts in 1998 with a team of police special forces called STARS who got into this mansion to investigate some shady stuff that's been happening there, and after a lack of response from the first team, they send a second one, and our main characters are part of that backup team. We have a few people in that squad, but I'll let the classic PS1 Resident Evil give us its iconic introduction to the cast.
Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, Rebecca Chambers, Albert Wesker, Resident Evil.
Now, another cool thing about this game is that it lets you choose two characters. You can pick between Chris and Jill, each with a unique trait and makes them play in a bit different. Like, Jill gets a lockpick to open some locked doors and more inventory space to hold items, but she has less health, which means she dies easily compared to Chris. Meanwhile, Chris gets more health, but also gets less inventory space and a cigarette lighter. Okay. Anyways, in the remake, we can either pick their OG looks, how they look back in 1996, or a more modern design that I think it's based on Resident Evil 5. And for some reason, Chris looks like a before and after for an steroids ad. Like, there's no way these two are supposed to be the same person. Like, you cannot convince me of that. So the game starts with the STARS Alpha team, aka the rescue team, in some woods in the middle of the night, and they're looking for the Bravo team that went missing. They find the helicopter of that team and find that one of the members are dead, so they're still looking for them, but a pack of wild dogs find them instead. They try shooting them, but they don't have enough bullets, so they just run for their lives and go into a mansion that's in the middle of this forest. I'm sure it will be cozy inside. So they go in, and they suddenly hear a noise. And if you've ever seen any classic horror movie or play any classic horror game, you would know that common sense doesn't exist, so they separate. Chris goes by himself to investigate the strange sound, and he goes into a hallway and interrupts a zombie that's having a midnight snack. Thankfully, Chris is carrying a gun, which you would expect because he's a police officer. He better be carrying a weapon. And we can take care of the zombie. But of course, because this is a survival horror game, bullets are very limited, but we can find some of them scattered throughout the mansion. And in case you don't have any bullets, you could always use a trusty knife. It might take you like 1,000 years to finally kill a zombie with it, but it will eventually get the job done. Shadow's knife only challenge people because that could never be me. After that encounter, he proceeds to explore the mansion, which is somewhat old-timey looking with all the candles, which has to be a pain to upkeep. There's also lots of paintings in every room, creaky wooden floors, and some weird puzzles, because I guess that's just how mansions are designed. By the way, I try to do what I think it's what anyone would do if they see zombies in any location, and just try to get out of there, only to be eaten by dogs. So I guess we're stuck here. Alright, if you get hurt and need to get patched up, all you have to do is just find some herbs and somehow grind them until they turn into a dust, and you use that dust to heal. Now, they don't show you how to use the medicinal powder, so in my headcanon, they just smoke it. You know, just a little blaze. Though logic-wise, and maybe in-game tutorial that I missed will tell you that they rub the powder in the wound, but where's the fun in that? Anyway, as Chris explores the mansion, he can't open every door because some have locks that need a specific keys. A sword key, a shield key, an armor key, a helmet key, so we need to find those as we explore the mysteries of this place. Eventually, we also find lots of other trinkets that we need to use to explore the mansion. Like, one of the first things we find is an arrow, and we can use the tip of that arrow in the graveyard to open a secret chamber. Yes, for some reason this mansion comes with a graveyard too, and of course there are secret chambers because what respectable mansion doesn't have one? Also in this chamber there are some weird faces and we need to find 4 masks to put on them. In this chamber we found the sword key, and with this key we can now explore more of the mansion. Speaking of exploring, the way the storytelling happens in this game is not just through cutscenes, but also finding photos and diaries that give you some insight as to what's happening on the mansion, written by people that used to live there before the whole zombie thing. So you start getting hints and clues as to how slowly things begin to change and people begin to disappear, or how some stop being coherent because they are in the process of zombification. That's gonna be basically the gameplay loop. You explore the mansion while shooting zombies or dodging them if you want to conserve ammo. You do some weird puzzles. You find some key items that it's needed to progress to get another key or a mask, while also taking into account the limited inventory space. Thankfully, there are safe rooms spread throughout where zombies don't magically appear or go in, so you can manage your inventory by putting things you don't need in a vault, and you can save your progress using a typewriter, which requires an ink ribbon, so even saves are limited. That's the thing about this type of survival horror games, is that they have like limited inventory as well as like limited resources you can use. So managing stuff the way that this type of games taught me how to properly manage what I have and resources, yes. Oh, and for some reason, whatever thing you put in a vault, you will find in a vault that it's located in other rooms. So I guess it's like a multi-dimensional vault that it's available in different places at the same time, because in-game logic. And as I mentioned, there's tons of puzzles you need to solve in order to get some of the keys and the masks needed to uncover the mysteries of this place. Like this one where statues move and crush you if you take one of the keys. Now, after exploring the mansion for a bit, we still don't see any of the people we came with, but we do run into some survivors from the Bravo team. You know, the ones we came to rescue. Here we meet Rebecca, who we can tell it's a medic because she wears a vest with a giant red cross that says rescue. And some dude named Richard who was apparently bitten by a poisonous snake. So, besides zombies and dogs, we also have to be wary of snakes. Okay. Another totally normal thing for this mansion to have. Anyways, Chris finds some medicine to treat Richard and will bring him and Rebecca to a safe room while Chris keeps exploring the mansion. After solving more puzzles, we find this nice looking bar/lounge area that has a nice piano, and for some reason another puzzle is to play Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. Like, who come up with these? And I don't mean like in the game, but like if you own a mansion, who says, let me put this secret door that can only be opened if you play a song in a piano? Like, I'm no mansion owner, so I don't know what the mindset of one is, but if this game is to be believed, then if you are rich with lots of money to blow, might as well have some fun with the mansion architecture, I guess. Anyways, Chris doesn't know how to play the piano, but thankfully Rebecca does. So she plays Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata.
What was that?
In the meantime, you might be wondering, like, hey, what about the other guys? What have they been up to? Well, we do know that at least Wesker is fine because he drops some ammo and other goodies for Chris in one of the safe rooms. So, thank you, Wesker, for that. And I think Jill is making a sandwich.
Wesker! Barry! Help!
Grab my hand!
Barry.
That was a close one. A second late, you would have fit nicely into a sandwich.
Oh, she's becoming a Jill sandwich. That makes more sense because have you seen the kitchen in this mansion? I don't think you should cook anything there. Sorry, that was obligatory Jill sandwich mention that should be done in every Resident Evil 1 video. This mansion is big though. Like, it has 3 floors, a basement, a courtyard, a graveyard. So we're still exploring, and while doing that, we finally meet the thing that bit Richard. And of course, one of the masks that we're looking for is here. Thankfully, we could just take the mask and bolt out. After getting all the masks and putting them in a weird room, a very feral zombie appears, but it's nothing that a few shotgun bullets can't handle. And our reward for it, some family emblem that we then use to get out of the mansion and into its backyard, which leads us to a cabin in the woods, because, you know, horror tropes. There's also a pool area, and we need to get across the pool, but instead of swimming, we drain it. And it could be because either Chris doesn't know how to swim, or probably because it looks hella dirty, which I don't blame him. Also, after seeing zombie dogs, snakes, what's stopping them from having like a crocodile or something? After getting across the pool, we go into a bigger cabin in the woods where we start to learn more things like having an underground facility. Is that a shark? This game should be called Resident Zoo because the amount of animals that we face here is bigger than the actual zombies. Like human-like zombies. Oh, and R.I.P. Richard. Man got taken out Jaw style while saving Chris. Anyways, we continue to explore more of this place, and we find some giant zombie plant. And again, just a few shotgun shots is more than enough to take it out. Our reward this time is another key to explore the mansion. So back there we go. Now, exploring this new area, Chris the Exterminator takes care of a giant snake. And we also encounter some weird lizard man, and they begin to attack Rebecca, and we go ahead and save her. After that, then we continue exploring even more of the mansion. We find some battery, which then we use to go down on some weird elevator, and we end up in some mines. Because yeah, they also have a mine in this property. In this mine, we find another survivor who seems to know something, because he mentions a double crosser, but before he can tell us anything, someone shoots him from the shadows. Looks like we have a traitor among us. Well, I'm sure we'll find out soon who that one is. Anyways, Chris the Exterminator now faces a giant spider, which, what are they feeding these creatures to grow so large? Why are they so big? I guess a zombie virus makes them grow, like, exponentially. Anyways, we keep exploring more of these mines, and while I expected, like, elevators and shafts, you know, to go to different floors and stuff like that, what I was not expecting was levers that can rotate some of the walls, and even puzzles involving moving statues. Whoever came up with the architecture design for this place must love puzzles. I honestly would hate to be part of the staff in charge of resetting them after they are solved. A cool thing about the mines though is that we get to see a little bit of a glimpse of the start of one of the most iconic romances in this franchise. Anyways, after getting another emblem, we take it back to the mansion and use it to go to a secret basement. This is like what? Probably the third, fourth secret chamber? Again, there's a lot in this mansion. Here we find Wesker, who helps us dispatch of a seemingly unkillable zombie who we yeet to a bottomless pit. Now we see that this basement, it's actually a research lab facility, and uncover what's been hinted at in the game by reading those diaries that I mentioned before and other stuff. So this pharmaceutical company called Umbrella has been developing the T virus, which is a zombie virus, or as they put it, a biological weapon. We also see that Jill has been kept prisoner here, and we uncover who the traitor is, Albert Wesker. Given the whole zombie thing and wanting to avoid spreading the virus, Chris sets the place to go ablaze. Rescues Jill, and Barry is waiting for us outside to get out in a helicopter. But while escaping, we encounter the ultimate zombie, the Tyrant, and look at that thing. Luckily, he has his Legend of Zelda very obvious pulsating weak point. They give us a bazooka, we shoot it, and it's over for the poor T. Oh yeah, and Wesker gets stabbed by the Tyrant, which solves that plot point rather quickly. After that, the team escapes and the mansion is destroyed. Surely that's the end of the zombies and the virus, right? He says sarcastically, knowing that this is the first game in a franchise with 9 main titles so far and a bunch of canon spin-offs. So yeah, that was Resident Evil. It's a very fun classic horror game. The inventory management aspect makes it very suspenseful. Lots of jump scares. I scream way too much playing this, though I get scared easily, so that might be a me problem. Let me know. Am I the only one who get like jump scared playing these games, or please say you guys, just for solidarity, just lie to me and say you guys do too. I really enjoy the cool puzzles, and also like it's cool that even though you don't have to read like all the diaries, you might want to because of the puzzles. They give you some hints of puzzles, but when it comes to the story, they still tell you the basics of what happens, even if you don't read the diaries and stuff like that, and see the pictures and entries. But it's kind of cool the way you can start figuring things out and like get some insight on to what's going on by investigating the mansion. Something I forgot to mention is that Chris's lighter actually has some use. You can find gasoline in the game. You can pour that gasoline on zombies that you have beaten and then use the lighter to light them up on fire. The reason why you might want to do that is because zombies, even though you shoot them and they're down, they can reanimate themselves in a stronger version of them that have like red eyes. And that's something that I didn't discover, the whole lighting thing, until much later in the game. I don't know if it's because there was a tutorial that I missed, or that was something that was explained and I didn't read it. I don't know. Or maybe it's something that it was on the strategy guide, you know, way back when, where there were booklets and stuff that came with the game. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if I didn't talk about your favorite part in the game. And which one is your favorite Resident Evil? I'm gonna be basic and say my favorite of like the classic franchise is 3, PS1 3, because Nemesis was a menace. Nemesis is a menace. You could never be safe. Well, maybe in the safe room, but it was a menace. I made my heart rate go up every single time I played that game. But yeah, this was the Resident Evil HD remaster. It has puzzles, it has cheesy dialogue, it has zombies, inventory management, classic horror tropes, and more. Thank you for watching. Please remember to do the things, like, subscribe, comment if you want to. Hope to see you next time. Bye!